of what somebody did to you. Funny. Of what somebody did to you, or what somebody might do to you. Your mind holds that. Your mind holds it based upon what has been done to you throughout many lifetimes. And your mind wants to save you, be your savior, be your Messiah. But baby, that mind is the Antichrist, okay? Don't listen to that mind. Listen to your spirit. That which was not born and will not die. That is the truth and will not lie. You are one with that. Become one with that. Okay? Choose that as your will. Choose to represent that and reflect that. And to ground in that. And to resonate that. And to speak that. From authority, be authority within that. Okay? And you will find this illusion changing beyond dream into something much more deeper and richer than you could have ever imagined, but that you knew for many lifetimes ago, before changes, before the mind took over, okay? For the mind got in that seat of power and principalities and got to wield in its influence, unseated, with the only thing that came, spiritual truth. The portal of light is being opened to you now to travel through time and space, to release the past, to open up to a future bright, and to call for more power in the present moment. Once you have done this for yourself, if you are guided into the healing path, then you can share this with others. And beloveds, begin the healing process. Begin and know that as it's flowing into you, it is like the sun. There are rays of it that's going cellular into your being and rearranging DNA and reconstituting this and regenerating that and awakening this that was dormant inside of you, that is healing you in different modalities and moderations and frequencies and textures and just an entire vastness that you're not even aware that's taking place. But it's an inner joy that's felt. And I believe the ancients call this bliss. You know, it's just a return to wholeness. And so it is definitely radiating. I'll put it that way. It is definitely radiating, and it is definitely working. So let me continue, beloved. Be guided by the loving blessing of Isis to assist you in this sacred interdimensional travel now for healing and understanding, more growth and peace. If you have also draw on the Oracle of the Merkaba, which we did was the first card, then part of your particular soul gift is an ability to navigate between spiritual dimensions of reality, shifting from lower vibrations of fear and bringing through higher vibrations of love to allow for peace and release. Beloveds, that was what happened with the dream that I spoke of, that unconscious, subconscious, conscious awareness that took place, that was the catalyst for these videos. This combination of the Merkaba card and the Portal of Light card means you have the ability to not only navigate dimensions, but to bring higher dimensional awareness into the present moment for healing with a natural soul ability to be present in lower realities, such as those of fear and competition on earth at present, and simultaneously be anchored in higher vibrational soul realities of love, peace, and truth. This makes you a powerful source of light. And the Lady Isis and her beloved star Sirius offer you divine peace and protection now to help you in this sacred task of being a star of divine light and presence on the earth at this time. The Oracle of the Portal of Light also brings special guidance that a phase of time or experience is over and a new cycle at a higher vibrational turn on the spiral is beginning. So prepare to ascend. Expect things to become lighter, freer, and faster moving in your life. Even perhaps while you appear to be more surrendered and more peaceful within yourself. And this is a ritual of the Portal of Light. You will need one candle, perhaps a tea candle, or a white or black candle for the exercise and some matches. Sit comfortably where you can gaze at the lit candle with eyes half closed and your spine relatively straight and supported. Gaze at the candle flickering with soft focus and keep your eyes half closed, half open as you focus on the candle and your breath. When you are ready, imagine you can project yourself into that candle light, sending your awareness into it until you sense all around you, either actually or with intention, bright, white light, pure. Allow yourself to release anything at all, conscious or unconscious, that you feel weighs you down. Just release it into the light. Say quietly this incantation. In this light beyond time and space, I enter the portal of divine light and grace. I am free of shackles from this life or another. I surrender all fear to the Divine Mother. I now choose to be free of the past. In the present light of spirit, I now bask. In the portal of light beyond all time, love and light frees me into peace sublime. And when you are ready, just open your eyes and extinguish your candle. And beloveds, I want you to know that ritual is different for everyone. Some need the actual physical ritual, the steps, and the physical touch and so forth. And there are others that can visualize the ritual or become one with the ritual within themselves and sit right there and see everything done and hear it and know it, and it is the same. And so find which resonates for you. And it is a discipline, beloved. Incantation of the portal of life. You can say the incantation, which is an excerpt from the ritual above, on its own. But first, visualize yourself surrounded by white light. In this light beyond time and space, I enter the portal of divine light and grace. I am freed from the shackles in this life, and that I release all that would hold me back. I now choose to be free of the past. In the bright light of spirit, I now bask. In the portal of light beyond all time, love and light frees me into peace sublime. And that was that card, beloveds. And we have a total of 3 more, which means we've done 5 already. And those 5 have been so, so powerful that it is just, like I said, it's really so powerful. It's really just uniting so much and releasing so much, and it's healing so much. Let me go forward. Stay true and be in your power. Osiris and Isis, Lord and Lady of divine authority. And I've been feeling that unity, that uniting, that alchemy rising. Here it is. Here's this card. Oh, look at those blue lines. I love it. Okay. Again, the flower. I'm being able to tell you the flower. Let's see. There it is, the pink by my finger. Okay. Stay true. $165, which is a 12, which is a 3. Stay true to your power. 165. Stay true and be in your power. Osiris and Isis, Lord and Lady of divine authority. You are a sovereign divine being with spiritual authority and freedom within you. You do not need permission from anyone to be who you are and live your life as you so choose. This is your divine birthright. Guard it as the precious treasure that it is, and remember that you are a divine being. The Flail and Crook, often held by Osiris as symbols of divine royalty and dominion. These symbols remind us that within we hold great dominion, spiritual authority, and freedom to be the sovereign ruler of our own life. This does not mean, I'm told to look at something right quick. Okay. Sorry. This does not mean that we have to control life or others or even the environment around us, but it does give us complete and utter choice to become as spiritually awake, free, and self-determined as we wish to be, as well as providing us with complete choice as to what our values and actions will be this lifetime. There is no permission required from anyone apart from yourself to be and live your truth. There are many voices that will test you on the journey, from illusionary shackles of fear, loss, or abandonment that may hold you back or tempt you into giving your power away to others. You shall awaken from the testing into the realization of spiritual independence within. Of course, there's more to spiritual authority than just recognizing that it lies within you. There are times when you must act on it, guard it, and protect it, which means recognizing when others seek to exert influence over you for their own reasons, or when you are being manipulated out of your own authority, becoming blind to your own power of choice, and instead believing that things just are the way they are and you cannot question or query. And beloveds, I want to pause for a moment here. I'm praying for the right words to come forth from you, beloveds, because there are so many, including myself, that need this shield and sword and ammunition in any situation requires a reaction, response, an analysis, and a witness. I have discussed with you the many different dimensions of the body, mind, and spirit. And in this discussion and in this existence, we have seen how the unaligned essences, elements of the mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional wreak havoc upon the existence manifesting the prison, okay? And what happens in the prison and the guards that it attracts and the circumstances that are repeated throughout generations. And it is only when the recognition, when you go through that portal of light and the recognition happens, that you have the authority to align, to form a circle with that mental, that physical, that spiritual, that emotional. They have to align in a circle. And you have to know that where you are in that circle and that you are the light that expands or contracts that circle and that creates or manifests the circumstances or realities. So just because a situation is there and you're witnessing it, what part of you is witnessing it? Is it your mental? Is it your physical? Is it your emotional? Or is it your spiritual? What part of you is reacting to it? Is it touching? Is it messing with it? Is it triggering? Is that situation messing with your mental, your physical, your emotional, or your spiritual? Which part of you is witnessing all of this? The interplay of the play. Your mental, your physical, your emotional, or your spiritual. Is it in this present moment? Or is it in some past moment? Or are you thinking about what's going to happen in the future moment? And all of this takes place like that. That's that Merkaba that you have to be able to get in and navigate into your conscious awareness, into your subconscious awareness, and into your unconscious. That means you have to be fully present. That means you cannot let your mind play with you. And you cannot let other people be constructed by your mind or attracted by your mind to come play with you, to distract you from divine love and loving yourself unconditionally. Because that's all it is. This political game that's taking place all over the world is just a prison. You're not getting along with your family members or your loved ones or your neighbors or whatever. And you're all living in one house, one earth, like the dream, but you're fighting each other and you're plotting and scheming and wake up. It's enough. Wake up. It's your choice. How you're going to react and how you're going to respond. From your mental, I could have woke up angry. I could have woke up scared. I could have woke up disconnected from my body. Or I could have stayed in that dream feeling powerless and trapped. Or I could tap into my spiritual authority and say, that's enough of that. Come out. And then pray and ask for revelations about what all of that means, Mama. And here it is. Here it is, beloveds. Okay. Let me keep going. There are times when you, of course, there's more spiritual authority, more to spiritual authority than just recognizing that it lies within you. There are times when you must act on it, guard it, and protect it, which means recognizing when others seek to exert influence over you for their own reasons, their own agendas, their own little imprisoned games. They need you to come play with them. They need your demons to keep theirs entertained or amused or whatever. Or when you are being manipulated out of your own authority, becoming blind to your own power of choice, and instead of believing that things just are the way they are, and you cannot question or query. As children of slaves. And when you are manipulated out of your own authority, as children of slaves. Remember, I spoke of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and Daniel. Children of slaves. They were enslaved by the Babylonians. When you are being manipulated out of your own authority, becoming blind to your own power of choice, instead believing that things just are the way that they are, and you cannot question or query. Sometimes during such challenges, challenges to wield the crook and flail to exert one's own spiritual authority requires that you stand your ground and remain true to your knowing. There was a meme that I found on a beloved's page on Facebook, and it was a picture of an Egyptian being. I can't remember which one at the moment. I just remember the words there and the energy around stand. And I was led to put little stars by the word stand on that meme. And now here it is, and I understand why I was led to do that. And like I said, beloveds, spiritual authority is given. That crook and flail were born with it. We incarnated with it. Now, whether we learn to use it or whether we learn to let somebody, they don't work no more, or we don't believe in their power or their frequency. Sometimes during such challenges, to wield the crook and flail to exert one's own spiritual authority requires that you stand your ground and remain true to your knowing. This is not about achieving a certain outcome or attempting to control something or someone or even forcing things to be as you wish they could be. Standing your ground means always telling yourself the truth. And again, this came up in A&E training, and I even wrote this little piece about the truth. Being self-care and self-help. And the symbol of that truth was the matriarchal elephant, the grandmother elephant. Okay? And that was just, woo! And it's still resonating all through me, and I'm just like, whoa. And I dedicated what came forward to my female mentor of that group, Miss Juliet. And like I say, I'm riding this Merkaba, okay, till the wheels fall off, baby. Till the wheels fall off. Yes. So here we go. Standing your ground means always telling yourself the truth and not selling out or giving away something that has genuine spiritual truth and meaning for you. It is not about making another see things the same way. It is about honoring your own truth. And if your truth is wise enough to include compassion, then honoring the other, even when the other disagrees with you or seeks to harm you out of their own fear. Recognize it as fear. Recognize that being, that mind that has control and has them imprisoned, has that self imprisoned, reacts to you out of fear and self-preservation and survival, because it recognizes the authority, the spiritual authority within you. Just like when Jesus got off that boat and he came upon that island where that man who was called Legion dwelled within the cemetery. And could nobody deal with him. He couldn't even deal with himself. But he recognized Jesus. Jesus didn't have to say who he was or what authority he had. He didn't have to speak at all. That essence, that energy, that fear of all those entities within that being, that body, felt and knew and saw that crook and that flail and knew that they could be used and thus begged, don't use it on us. Just let us go into these pigs. And it was so much and so deep that the pigs couldn't even hold it. It drove them insane and they ran off the cliff. So much, so intense, so old and ancient and archaic, so powerful, so evil, if you want to call it that, or so not evil, confused, or fearful, so full of fear. The most evil things are fearful. They're fearful of light. They're fearful of correction and discipline. They're fearful of a reckoning. So don't take it personally, because it has nothing to do with you as an individual. It has to do with your spiritual authority and you recognizing that about yourself. And you emanating that, your truth. You speaking it out, you living it, it being your whole presence. You don't have to say nothing. Those with eyes can see. Those with ears can hear. Know thyself. And to thine own self be true. Standing your ground means always telling yourself the truth and not selling out or giving away something that has genuine spiritual truth and meaning for you. It's like Bruce Lee said, be water, my friend. Be water. Just be water. Okay? Be water. It is not about making another see things in the same way. It is about honoring your own truth. And if your truth is wise enough to include compassion, then honoring the other even when the other disagrees with you or seeks to harm you out of their own fear. You do not have to challenge another in order to honor your truth and inner authority. If you feel that another has to agree with you in order for your authority to be intact, then it isn't genuine authority at all. The fact that you don't need to have the agreement of others is in order to live. In order to live an empowered life can be a liberating realization. And beloveds, again, that is why the thing with my expressions, this and this and that, keeps surfacing within me because I am liberating myself from that. And that's, like I said, that's the only tool the mind has to keep throwing at me right now. And that's a tar. Sometimes it'll stick and sometimes it won't. But the fact that I'm aware of it as a weapon and a tool being used against me speaks volumes about my spiritual growth and maturity. And the fact, like I said earlier, about needing somebody, expecting somebody to have the same heart that you have, expecting somebody to be at the same frequency that you are, expecting somebody to do the right thing because you usually tend to do the right thing. That's a trap of the mind, because then it breeds, it fornicates and breeds resentment and causes all kind of little other voices to, that's disrespectful, and they getting rich and you ain't getting nothing. And like I said, what did he say? The fact that you don't need to have the agreement of others in order to live an empowered life can be a liberating realization. Why do you need their validation? That you were right? If you know you're right, do you really need somebody to agree with you before you can be right? Hmm? If you're right, you're right. Bear witness to it. Be present and stand on it. Radiate. That's your crooked flail. You ain't got to say, it's my crooked flail. Don't you agree? Like I said, that mind, baby, that mind will, whoop, and it's you. So it knows what is cunning, cunning, cunning. That's a cunning snake. Okay? That mind is cunning, baby. It knows just what to do. It knows just how to sound, just what to say, just how to taste, just how to smell, just how to hook your ass on in. Cook and crook. It's got its own crook and flail, okay? And so you gotta be sitting up here doing Bruce Lee nunchucks with your crook and flail to block it, trying to hook you. It is an inner knowing. It is an inner battle. It may seem like it's someone else coming at you, but that's what your mind created and drew and manifested in order for you to overcome it. It's a contest. It's a kumite. Who gonna win this kumite? The spirit of the mind. Let's go. And beyond. Until you get to the point where you no longer exist. I no longer need you to reflect a polarity that is lower. Can you reflect a polarity that's even higher? That is even more spiritual than this one? Can you show me an aspect that has a better intention for me? What is your purpose for me aspect? What is your higher learning, your higher vibration, your higher frequency that you want me to attain? Because you're part of me, I manifested you, I gave birth to you. What do you want to show me? What do you want to teach me? I'm ready to receive it. I'm open. I'm vast, beyond the limitations of my mind that has me afraid and scared. I'm expanding, I'm blossoming, I'm blooming, I'm growing. I'm giving birth and rebirthing myself as I die daily to old ways of being, knowledge, logic, beliefs, love, attachments, addictions, thoughts, dreams, hopes. I die daily to them. As I rebirth myself with a smile and gratitude to the Great Mother for showing me the way. Standing your ground means always telling yourself the truth, and not selling out or giving away something that has genuine spiritual truth and meaning for you. It is not about making another see things the same way. It is about honoring your own truth. And if your truth is wise enough to include compassion, then honoring the other, even when the other disagrees with you or seeks to harm you out of their own fear. You do not have to challenge another in order to honor your truths and inner authority. If you feel that another has to agree with you in order for your authority to be intact, then it isn't genuine inner authority at all. The fact that you don't need to have the agreement of others in order to live an empowered life can be a liberating realization. What if this was directed towards American politics right now? What would that message be? The Democrats don't need the Republicans. They don't need their permission. That we, the people, don't need the government to dictate moral laws, universal laws. We just need them to do what? To enforce what they swore to do, which we gave them the authority. This card is about authority and about using that authority in a higher manner. And understanding that the paradox of the polarities is to recognize the polarity and to rearrange so that it takes you higher, so that you ascend from that stance to a higher stance, not just individually, but collectively, because we are all one. The fact that you don't need to have the agreement of others in order to live an empowered life can be a liberating realization. Yet there are times when life can feel like an assault against your truths, with many challenging you. For those souls who have come to master spiritual authority this lifetime, there is a test to remain true without becoming dogmatic, to honor what you know is true without minimizing, judging, or dismissing the truths of others that are different to yours, but just as true for them. And I always get hooked on this. Why? Because my mind is an INFJ. I'm an introverted judger. Okay? And recognizing myself as such means that in every situation I observe myself and I'm going to perform some type of judgment. And in realizing the integration of spirit and mind and physical body and so forth and so on, I'm understanding that you have to let the spiritual, be the judge, not the mental, not the emotional, not the physical, but the spiritual. Because the spiritual is the only one that truly sees what is unseen and what is unknowable to the mental, to the physical, and to the emotional. And so it is about learning to actually be in the driver's seat of that Merkaba, that spiritual Merkaba, and not turning over the wheel to somebody else. Not turning over the wheel. Okay, emotions, come on. Okay, feelings and thoughts, come on. Okay, mind, come on. No. There's a saying, Jesus, take the wheel. That's your spirit. Spirit, keep the wheel, please. Because it's going to turn. Keep the wheel. Don't let my mental get a hold of this wheel. Don't let my emotions get a hold of this wheel. Don't let my physical self, identity, that little slave, get a hold of this wheel for its sadistic mind, master. Because we're going to turn it upside down and inside out. Just so we can see it. Just so we can. Just for the contrast. Just for the test. Oh, you ready now? You going to let go of the wheel? We going to see. Stay in your authority. Keep your crook and flail at all times. Yet there are times in life when you feel like an assault against your truth and many challenging you. For those souls who have come to master spiritual authority this lifetime, this is a test. And did you hear that? Not all are here to master spiritual authority at this time. That's going to happen in another season and cycle and circle and season for some others. But if it's your turn, your time, your incarnated purpose mission is to master spiritual authority this lifetime, get on it. Witness everything that is here to help you. Don't take it personal. Take it as your simulated holographic training ground for you to master your spirituality and get it. For those souls who have come to master spiritual authority this lifetime, there is a test to remain true without becoming dogmatic, to honor what you know is true without minimizing, judging, or dismissing the truths of another that are different to yours, but just as true for them. Just as true for them. So, when I was in that dream, and those that were downstairs, they was just, their truth was just as true for them as mine was for me. They were right. Their white supremacy, their authority was right. Just as mine was right to me. And they clashed. Why? What's the lesson? and to see my son and my grandson going through something that was going to be harmful, to actually hear my son screaming out in pain. Like I said, it's very powerful. That subconscious mind. To see George Floyd with a knee on his neck, dying, calling out his mama. We have a lot to learn. About our spiritual authority and about leadership and about following the leader and about where they're going, you know, and what is truth. Because that's a two-headed coin. You have the power to create your own reality, and you don't need permission from anyone to do so, to do this. Honor your spiritual sovereignty. Let the Lady Isis help you find your spiritual authority and freedom of choice now. If you have pulled the Queen of Heaven card as well as this one, you are guided to deeply question the power of external authority figures in your life. Whether they be spiritual teachers, gurus, parents, or employers, these beings may be doing their best to help you, but it is up to you to find your own truth. These beings can be mirrors for your own awareness at best. You are guided to exercise care and discernment about any issue that feels like it is compromising your sense of self and personal power in such relationships. That issue is a soul healing trying to happen. Look within and see if you can grow through it in some way. There's much self-confidence trying to emerge from within you. Seeking to hand over any responsibility for your own well-being to another can be a tricky and ultimately self-destructive path, even though it may seem to start off as a relief of stress about some concern or other. Getting into a relationship. Two heads are better than one. Not all the time, baby. Not all the time. If your head ain't on straight, and their head ain't on straight, dysfunction feeds dysfunction, misery loves misery. Okay? And two dysfunctional beings, baby. You talking about some funky creativity and whew, how many bastards, how many immoral, sinning, missing the mark, off color, outright wrong stuff is born from that. Look down through the history, all the way back to Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel. Everything is right in front of us. We've only got to see it with the Spirit. This card also guides you to take responsibility for your health into your own hands too. Advice from health professionals and doctors can be helpful and sometimes can be mistaken. It is up to you to decide for yourself how you wish to work with your body. Don't be scared. Listen to the advice given by other professionals, but remember, your life is your spiritual gift. Don't be afraid to live it in your own way. And beloveds, that is very deep for me because right now, like I said, I am going through some deep healings. Deep healings emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. I am expanding. And in that expansion, there requires an emptying out or a detoxing or surgical removal, even sometimes, or extraction sometimes, or amputation sometimes. And you've really got to be present and aware. And you've got to love yourself unconditionally enough to seek the wholeness. The wholeness is holiness. And that wholeness and holiness is the alignment of all your bodies, of all your dimensions, of all your realms, of all your conscious awarenesses, subconscious awarenesses, unconscious awarenesses. So, yes, it requires a lot of focus. But more than focus, it requires devotion and commitment and unconditional love for yourself. And we have been taught not to give ourselves that kind of love, not to think that we're worthy of it, to be so distracted by other things that the mind has manifested, of dramas and stories, and, so that we can't laser beam focus on aligning so that we can ascend. We keep going down that ladder and not coming back. And what's the saying? For every one step you take two backwards. Hello. You have the authority to control that. Nobody doing it for you but you. And when you find yourself getting ready to make them two steps backward, check yourself and say, not today. Or, oops, climb back up. It's on you. Again, I'm not going to read the ritual because, like I said, I got 2 more cards after this. So here we go. Incantation of the Crook and Flail. You can say this incantation to break any vow of this or another lifetime. You will sense those past vows as an inner block or drain that can keep you active to a relationship or relationship pattern that you know does not serve you, but you cannot seem to break through, as though you are somehow tied to it beyond your conscious will. Remember where I told you about those cords, those spiritual cords and those mental cords and those emotional cords and those physical cords that, I went and gave him some again. And, I just let him all the way back up inside me again. And yeah, he's back in my head again. Yeah, he's back in my heart again. Or yeah, that child back, she got me good. Your own children or your own family or whatever. Or your co-workers or whatever, beloveds. Not without your permission. Not without your permission. What was that in The Fifth Element? When Bruce kissed her and she put that gun to his head? Not without my permission, baby. I ain't from here. No, I don't get down like that. not without my permission. And he said, I didn't speak that.